first, we're going to talk to Tim Bassa, Vice President of Sales, on our vision and 2020 roadmap, and then we're going to transition into our national sales strategies and some of the tools and the way we're supporting our advisors out there. And then next, we're going to go to Karen Fields, CEO and founder of Microcorp, now Vice President of AppSmart. And we're going to dive into some of the details as to why AppSmart and just her journey over the last year. So we're really excited about that. And then we're going to wrap up with Matt Hardy, who is former CEO and founder of CNSG, now Vice President of Communication Services. And we're going to dive into some of the details around our provider services and answer some of the questions that maybe many of the suppliers have that are on the call today. So again, welcome. We appreciate you hanging out with us for the next hour. We do believe that the lineup of questions that we have, as this is not going to be a PowerPoint, but more of an interactive interview type style session, it's going to get a lot of questions answered. So we're excited about that. So before I kick it off and go to Tim, I'm going to just ask that Matt and Karen stay on for a second. All I have to say is wow. So if you rewind the tapes maybe 24 months, to see the three of you would be like a panel where you would all be wearing your own jerseys or representing your own brands, collaborating, but make no mistake, competing, right? Friendly competition. And I know that's the way it is with you guys. But what an awesome opportunity for AppSmart to have the three of you and many other leaders come together. So I just want to pause because I know there's decades of history between you all. Do you guys remember the first time that you met? Do you have any stories?
Okay, first of all, let's not go with decades. You make it sound
a long number.
How about years? Let's be kinder. Years.
So what years ago, not decades, but years ago, do you guys remember like a show that you were at where you maybe met for the first time? I know that with the Alliance, I know Tim and Karen, you guys were on many trips, many dinners.
You know, I'll go first, but to do it, I got to get appropriately set up here with my CNSG hat on. So I met Matt for the first time. You know, I knew Matt by reputation, and I met him for the very first time at a dinner. We actually sat across from each other, and there's some other master agents at the dinner. And you always go into those things a little bit guarded because you're competitors. And within about, maybe a half of a bourbon, I figured out that Matt was not like, he wasn't going to go to battle with me. We were friendly competitors. We're brainstorming. And that transitioned really quickly as CNSG hooked up with AppSmart, and as Matt and his team were onboarded, it was just like, this sort of channel brotherhood. It was amazing, and really, really thankful for that. And then Karen, Karen, admittedly, I was a bit intimidated by Karen because I knew Karen as this strong personality, and I heard, I wish I had a Microcorp. I met her at an Agent Alliance meeting, and shortly after that meeting, we were put on a project together as part of the board.
Yeah.
And so we were working together, and the rumors were true. She does have a strong personality, and she is super smart, but she also has a huge heart, and she's so committed to this channel, our partner community. Her commitment to making this space amazing was really, really impressive to me. And in fact, I modeled some of my thoughts after some of her best practices. So having the opportunity to work with Karen and Matt every day now has been a joy. Look, we share different opinions on things, but iron sharpens iron. New opinions and new ideas coming together to shape best practices are good. Brian, that was probably more than you asked for. I'll let these guys.
That's good. Share away.
That's great, Tim. And I've gotten the chance to get to know Tim even better over the past year and a couple months, working with him every day. Now at AppSmart, but obviously anybody that knows Tim's and been to a channel show knows Tim. He's got an incredible presence at 6'10" and always has a smile on his face. So it's been fun to get to know Tim even deeper. And Karen, and you and I met, I think it might, I don't know if it's decades, but a decade and a half, about 15 years ago. I'm giving away secrets in Charlotte at an event with a vendor. And I got to know Karen and Microcorp had been in business. This is right when we started CNSG. So we've done business with Microcorp throughout the years. And you know, we really have always viewed it as friendly competition with some of our other quote unquote competitors. I mean, combined, I doubt the entire channel has more than, 5-8% market share. So we've really always collaborated, and Karen's always been a great partner for us to work with. We've worked back and forth. So it's been great to come into AppSmart, having Microcorp come in now with Karen, having had that relationship for 15 years and having had a great relationship with Tim prior, and now the chance to work, on a daily basis with him for the last year and a couple months. So it really has been an easy transition, and I'm super excited about the future of AppSmart.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. I know that, Tim, you're going to stay on. Matt and Karen, you're going to go off camera for a little bit. We'll talk to you soon. And Tim, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Hey, let's start off with this question. So being in my role and talking to partners and our providers, a lot of times different individuals out there think of AppSmart as maybe more of the company they associated with that maybe came together. There's different opinions. So I really want to start off with more of a foundational question of who is AppSmart, and then to take it a step further, who is AppDirect?
Great. So yeah, let's step back into AppDirect for a second, maybe, not even 30 seconds on AppDirect. So anyone can Google AppDirect. You'll see that they're our parent company. AppDirect is an end-to-end subscription commerce platform. It's a marketplace, right? Some of our customers on the AppDirect side are ADP, Keller Williams, Rogers, Vodafone, Comcast, and many more names that you've heard. We transact millions of cloud subscriptions on the platform globally, and AppSmart harnesses the power of that best-in-class platform, and we make that technology extensible, the technology plus the catalog extensible to the advisors that we have on this call and others nationwide. So think about AppSmart Marketplace as a place to find, buy, and manage essential business technology. So whether that's energy, SaaS, connectivity, cybersecurity, all those things are starting to come into play and focus on the marketplace, on the AppSmart Marketplace.
Yeah, so let's hang there for a minute. So to take it a step further, where do you feel it's at today, and really what's the future of it? And then even a step further, where do end users come into play? How will they utilize the marketplace?
Yeah, sure. So the humble explanation is, for most of us on the call, we probably remember when Amazon.com first started, they sold books. And then soon they sold other items, right? Audio books, toys with eToys, diapers with diapers.com. And they grew that platform to become really an everything store. So where we see AppSmart going for both our advisors and their end users is a single pane of glass where they can find, buy, and manage their technology services. So think about a secure place where you can sign on, see all your applications. Brian, you know this because you do it every day. You sign on to your marketplace instance, you have access to Salesforce and Workday and Office 365 and DocuSign. We experience that every day. Our advisors can provide that exact same experience, single sign-on, access to apps today for their clients. And then their clients will continue to buy services through the marketplace and grow their revenue and stickiness with our advisor community.
Very cool. So two-part question. What do you love most about AppSmart? You've been here for about a year now. And, where do you see it going over the next year? Like, where do you think we're going to look different in a year from now?
Yeah, so I think one of the things we've seen by demoing the marketplace is a lot of the advisors are excited about what they're seeing from a Google, Microsoft standpoint. So I think extending some of the automation that we have and capabilities we have with end-to-end procurement into other services is the most exciting piece of that puzzle. And I encourage people who want those demos to get with their channel sales manager and set up a one-on-one where they can get a demo and see a demo of the marketplace and how that becomes extensible to their clients.
Right, and so there's different iteration. It's going to continue to evolve like anything in technology. What we're experiencing today and what it'll be, I can't even imagine. I think it's going to take us to a whole new place for the end user buying experience. Why should our advisors double down with AppSmart now? Maybe some that do a little bit of business with us. Why do you feel like they should get more involved or go all in with us?
Yeah, I think if you look at a couple things, I think you asked me what I was excited about too. I'm gonna sort of melt two things together. I think timing couldn't be better. Everybody who's on this call and who is in our space sees rapid adoption of platforms. And you could use the Amazon example, Brian. Who would have thought that we'd be ordering groceries a year ago online, having them delivered to our front doorstep? People are adopting platforms more and more. Our adoption rate is going up. So I'm really excited about the timing of the market. I think the timing couldn't be better. I think we're in the right place at the right time as AppSmart. I think the partners who are embracing it as early adopters are going to have a faster path to acceleration than others. I think the people we've assembled, I mean, we just had Karen and Matt on at the beginning. We have this all-star cast. And as you know, we've acquired several other companies throughout the year. We have this superpower coming together where we're harnessing best practices. So I think timing, people, plus the portfolio. We had advisors last year, agents in the channel community that sold SaaS for the very first time, things like DocuSign or Microsoft Office 365. Yes, they were selling connectivity or UCaaS, but now they had this ability to double or triple down with their customer base and really grow it. So I think that's a big part of what we're doing and what I'm excited about. The way to double down is to work with your customers to capture more revenue, more spend, and create a better experience.
Got it. And I see some questions popping up, and it's hard in this role to catch them all, but I did catch one when you were talking from our good friend Peter Rad.
I saw it.
Yeah, you saw that. And so maybe let's just address that real quick, because
Yeah.
when people hear that an end user can go into the marketplace and find, buy, and manage, how does that protect, or how is that good for the advisors? There's a concern, right, that they won't be a part of that, but it's just the opposite. So if you could elaborate.
Yeah. So the only way to procure something on the marketplace is through your association with an advisor. So it's not a publicly facing marketplace. People can find AppSmart, but then they have to find an AppSmart advisor, which is an exciting thing for anyone who's associated with us. As our brand grows and builds, more and more businesses will know about AppSmart, and they're going to want to know if you guys on the call are an AppSmart advisor, and that's going to be a way for you to onboard your client to the marketplace. So our plan is not to go direct to consumer. It's to empower everybody on this call as the channel, our channel partners, to grow with us.
Got it. Thanks. So last question before we switch gears and talk a little bit about our national sales strategy. Walk us through the difference, probably a pretty big topic for some out there as they just hear different things going on, between maybe pure M&A and a program like AppSmart Invest or Trade.
Yeah, I think let's take a quick step back. So AppSmart as a company wants to provide capital options for our partners. And that's going to come in different flavors. And you guys will see consistent rollouts over the year of products and services we're going to offer to help fuel your business, whether that's AppSmart Card, AppSmart Advance, AppSmart Trade. These are all product names or works in progress, but AppSmart Trade and then AppSmart Invest. So yes, we've acquired some companies, but with AppSmart Invest, we've discovered through M&A that there's a group of partners that want capital to fuel their business or other business endeavors. And they also want to benefit from the long-term residual income that they've built. So we have an offering for those partners who they can come to us, they can sell part of their business to AppSmart, become closer with AppSmart. They get a day one consideration, so cash up front, and then they get a lifetime of ongoing residual. And we have 7 of those transactions we did in 2020. And those partners are a really amazing part of our family now. We call it the Founders Club. They're an amazing part of our family. They're helping guide decisions. And we're looking for more of those partners in 2021 and beyond. Those who want to maybe take some cash off the table, but continue to benefit from the upside of the annuity and growing their business. And by the way, they benefit from the upside growth of their base with AppSmart too. So it's a really unique program. And anyone on the call who's interested in that, they can just reach out to me directly.
Very good. Thank you. All right. So switching gears, I guess, what was one of the biggest surprises from 2020 that's carrying over into 2021 here?
I think the biggest surprise was rapid adoption. I touched on that before, Brian, which is how fast customers are pulling ahead their technology decisions, and they're reaching out to advisors, or in some cases where our advisors, our channel partners, doubled down on marketing. I joked last year, I had a partner call me up and say, he's having the best year of his career while other people were taking a COVID vacation. He pushed all in, and he actually doubled the amount of new customers he was tending to. And he had a very select group of cohorts, but the idea is people are adopting technology faster. So I would say to everybody on the call, broaden your skill set, broaden your knowledge base. And if you don't have knowledge or expertise in a certain area, maybe it's cybersecurity or infrastructure as a service, we have resources that can help facilitate the sales. Guys and gals who will get on and help you in a sell with environment to win deals.
Very cool. So let's talk about what we've been living, right, with the coming together, the integration of several companies. It's no secret. And we spent a good amount of time last year doing that. Walk us through like what the AppSmart Way is now and how we took the best practices of those companies and taking us to a place that we are today to really go to market.
Yeah, I think that's a call unto itself, Brian. So I'll try to encapsulate it. And by the way, since you lived a lot of this with me, I think the next question or two around the AppSmart Way, feel free to chime in.
Sure.
But we did a deep dive into the processes of the legacy company. So a lot of people say, oh, AppSmart's a new company. Well, it's a new name, but we have over 30 years of founder experience in our collective group. So it's this new name with a proud history. We took the best practices from our former companies, but also from what we saw in the market and from resources like Gartner and Forrester, and we went through a sales effectiveness process. How could we best enable the channel to succeed? And we layered in a national sales coverage map. So whether that's sales desk for quoting and ordering, partner support in the field, sales engineering at a very technical level, very, very technical level, product sales specialists to help with product verticals. So we're able to meet our partners where they are today with whatever skill set they have today and grow them to whatever their ambition is. So maybe somebody has never sold complex solutions, now they can. Maybe in the past with one of the legacy companies, they didn't have a dedicated channel manager, now they do. And we're going to continue to expand upon that. At the same time, we're making things extensible out to the customer. So I see some things in the chat and I'm trying to really pay attention to you. But one of the things that we're opening up here now is the ability for your customers to manage their licenses in the marketplace. So stay tuned for more detail on that. I see a lot of questions around that. We'll do some demos for you guys where you can see the power of the marketplace live and you can see the capability and you also get a vision for where it's going. And if you want to see that before a public webinar, reach out to your channel sales manager and we'll set up a private one.
Sure. So let's take that a step further. So if you're out there and you're an advisor and you're wondering, okay, I have a dedicated channel sales manager, but beyond that, let's talk a little bit about the other roles that we have and how the advisor should really tap into the folks that we have to support them, some of the tools we have. Walk us through some of that.
Yeah, so tool-wise, early in the year, we announced AppSmart Marketer, which is a marketing automation tool. We announced AppSmart Locator. I know the product names are changing, so marketing team, don't get mad at me. I know we're rebranding some of these as we align everything online. But our service locator tool, which allows you to locate connectivity options. AppSmart Quote, which enables quoting, and that's going to get enhanced really rapidly. So it's quote to order capability. So that our team is working on that day in and day out to make that more powerful, but also the one-to-one relationships. And that's what we're seeing drive the more complex sales. So, and I mentioned some of these roles, but sales engineer, especially around specific verticals. So cloud, infrastructure as a service, UCaaS, high-level connectivity or contact center. So there's experts that stand ready to help you with those deals. And we know that there's a big need for that in the space. And we're going to continue to jump in on that. Also, Brian, you and I have been doing this for a while. And the thing that I say this a lot, so people who are on here are like, oh, I've heard this before from Tim, but guys, there's only 3 ways to grow revenue. And what we see is people using us to help really amplify the second one. So the first is you have to go out and get new customers. So you have to have something new to say. Well, I think AppSmart gives you a different talk track, number 1. Number 2, you can add sales on to your current base. And number 3 is you can raise prices. Most of us aren't in the business of raising prices, or we don't have control of the prices. So number 2 is the big one, where how can we grow our expertise with our partners? How can we make it better for them where they want to buy more from us and we can grow our revenue from them? And I think you're going to see that AppSmart is going to become that place, the go-to, where your clients log in every day, whether it's as a user, they log into their My Apps page, they click on Workday so they can take their PTO, or as an administrator and they log in to see how many active licenses they have on a specific software product and what their spend is. So there's lots of benefits to the end customer out there.
Yeah, and so let's talk a little bit about buy, use, show, and grow with us. I should say buy, use, sell, and grow with us. That program we have, and what's really cool about that is the reality is we have a lot of partners that they're not familiar with the SaaS part of the business. Maybe they've been more traditional telco connectivity, and them basically helping their business out, being able to have a single pane of glass, get them familiar with it. Maybe understanding that software as a service, you don't really need to be as standoffish as some are, because you've been using it for a decade yourself. So there's, I think, these bridges that we're connecting different folks to. But walk us through that program and why you think it's cool.
So Brian, this really came from one of our great partners who is doing a lot of selling with us early last year, actually. So it's been a year now. And he called me up on the phone and said, hey, Tim, can I just move my Microsoft licenses? I have 25 employees, 28 employees, I think. Can I move my licenses to you? And I said, yeah, of course. Like, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you buy from yourself? And a freaking light bulb went on. So the idea of use, show, sell, right? And have the ability to grow is you guys should all use it. Look, you guys are using Google or Microsoft. You're using DocuSign. Move those instances into the marketplace. And now you have your own live demo. So you can use it, you can show it, and you know your customers. You guys can finish my sentence. You got to see it to believe it, right? So when you use it, you show it to your customer, you say, hey, here's my apps page, here's how I use it, then they can see it and they can appreciate it. So that's where use, sell, show, grow came from. And it's really been catching fire. You know, our advisors are starting to use the platform, which is great. And then that makes it immediately extensible. It makes a story better to their customers.
Yeah, and I just want to really highlight when we talked a little bit about the support, I think it's because every day I see light bulbs go off on calls that I'm on with our product sales specialists, and having really that hub and spoke where your channel sales manager's there. But I guess a message to the advisors out there that maybe aren't as familiar. You're typically on the telco or connectivity side, you're pretty familiar with how to utilize a sales engineer or a specialist to either get involved or to get you to a supplier. Maybe you work directly with them. Where I see it being a little bit different in my experiences on the SaaS, the software and infrastructure as a service, energy, mobility, where there's not that connection with the company. So I see our team a lot more heavily involved with those opportunities. And so being able to say, okay, here's where I'm at, there's a starting point. I have a base of customers, I hear this weekly, that I've had for a decade, but I've never sold energy or mobility or software. And they're obviously using all of it, right?
Yeah.
How do I start that? And so I love to witness those conversations between our product sales specialists where they just start to understand, who have you sold into? What does your base look like? What are the verticals? You know, what's the starting point? Whether it's a mass use our AppSmart marketer and drip into them and then see who raises their hand and then ride shotgun to the experience. Or we have partners and advisors say, no, I want to target these 3 big customers because I think there's a need there. And that's where it starts. So we are here for that, I guess. So we want to bridge not just the fact that we have all this, but we have experts and we have tools and we have the marketer, and we can put it all together and create a plan for you. So we want to get intimately involved in your business in that way. So Tim, anything to add before we move on?
Yeah, I think I'll say a couple things and then wrap up so we can get on with everybody else. So I see a lot of questions in the chat. They're amazing. We're going to log every single question. I know Brian will say this probably later as well. We'll make sure that we answer questions as best we can. I saw a question about leasing. Real quickly, leasing's on the roadmap, but probably not till the end of the year. We definitely have a financial product portfolio that we'll be coming out with, so stay tuned for that. Another question I saw come up a couple times in the chat was around branding. So guys, look, this is really important. Our vision is to build a brand to help your business. So in the same way that the Remax brand helps with Remax agents credibility, or Keller Williams, who's actually a customer of AppDirect, or Allstate for Allstate agents, our vision, our big vision for you is that we're going to have an AppSmart brand that'll be known to business owners nationwide and eventually globally, and that'll help your business accelerate. So my message to you is learn as much as you can. Be patient with us as we grow and expand. And I think that you're going to find a big benefit as we endeavor to help you guys achieve your goals and achieve our goals along the way. We're really, really focused on you as a community, as you've heard from Karen, and you'll hear more from Karen and Matt. This is our lifelong passion. The reason we all got together was to pursue a big goal for everybody on this call and those who will watch the recording. So we're excited about it. Reach out to us with questions. We're going to log all the questions. We'll have more information coming from AppSmart. Brian, thanks for the interview.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks for the insights. Appreciate it, Tim. All right, we're gonna bring Karen on. There we go. Karen, how you doing?
These calls can be a little bit tricky, finding the right button.
Yeah, no, totally. So hey, I want to start off first by saying congratulations.
Thank you.
Pretty awesome what's happened. Really excited to be working with you and Phil and Chris and the team. And wow, what a journey 2020 must have been for you, with everything going on top of really this highlight, right? You've built a company, you've poured your heart into it, and you really had to do your due diligence, and here we are. So we want to hear about that today, and we also want to answer some questions that we know are out there about what does this all mean, and how will we interact, etc. So we'll get into that, but let's just kick it off with really anything you want to share about that journey, and really why AppSmart.
So I get the question, why AppSmart, all the time. And it really boils down to three things. First of all, they had the culture that is very important to me. Second of all, ideology. We are going after the same type of vision for the marketplace that Tim spoke about, and the ability for our partners to support their customers' entire technology journey, because it is a journey. You know, they start off with Office 365, and then they need to get a hosted voice solution, and then they're worried about security and what's going on in the world, and they want our technology advisors to be a big part of all of those decisions. And if our technology advisors say, well, you know, that's not an area I can really help you in, that then opens the customer up to go to somebody else for guidance and assistance. So, you know, we want to be that full provider, that full solution provider, and be able to pull in the right technical support from our sales engineer, and pull in the right providers from a technology, you know, from the providers, to be able to give them that full solution. And the third reason is size, because let's face it, size does matter. And I saw that AppSmart was going and growing in the direction that we were going and growing in. And I was like, you know what, it's time for us to do it together. And of course, I've worked with Matt for years and have always loved working with him. And as Tim said, because we were both members of the Alliance, we've worked together on a couple of projects, and I've always enjoyed working with him. Matter of fact, I'm going to digress for a minute and talk about a Tim Bassa approved shower. We were in Puerto Rico at a meeting, and the hotel. I walked in after a long flight, and I was tired. I went and took a shower, and the shower head was literally right above my head. I'm 5'3.5". I'm like, this is like the shortest shower I've ever been in. I was like, oh man, Tim Bassett, 6'10", is not going to like this shower. And then a couple of weeks later, we were at a conference and the shower head was so high up, I couldn't even reach it. I'm like, this is a Tim Bassett approved shower.
Oh boy. I've been on several trips over the years, and I have come out and I said, gosh, how long the heck did you fit into that thing? Whether like New York or Boston, where everything's packed in.
Yeah.
It's $500 for just a square box and a really small shower from the 1920s. But totally. Let's talk about integration. What's that going to look like? I know I'm getting a lot of questions. I know your team is, from suppliers, from advisors. How's that going to
So, you know, Nick and Dan have built a very thoughtful organization, and integration is going to be very thoughtful. We're not rushing it. We're going to do things the way that make sense, business sense for AppSmart as well as Microcorp. And for most of 2020, it's going to be Microcorp doing business as usual. And as we are able to, we're going to integrate our commissions and our Eco Office and all of the products and solutions into the AppSmart platform. But it is not going to be something where our partners will experience any difference in the quality or level of support that they get from us. All the features and functionality that they get through Eco Office, all the tools that they see, all the different reports that they get regarding their commissions, all of that is going to stay. It's just going to be enhanced once we get it into the AppSmart portfolio. But for us this year, the team is all here. We're doing our jobs just as we did last year. It really is going to look and feel exactly the same.
Got it. So actually, take a step back if you could, because I've been getting questions like, hey, now that you're part with Microcorp, you guys are one company, Eco Office and the Eco apps in general, if you could just even share what they are for anyone who might not know.
Well, you know, as I said, you know, the journey of what AppSmart was doing as far as their marketplace is exactly the same journey that Microcorp was experiencing and developing. And that's what our Eco Hero is. Eco Hero is our marketplace platform, so our partners can go in, learn about different products and services, and be able to connect with those providers, get quotes, do all the things that they need to do. Eco Office is our back office, which is how our back office platform that we use to run our business. At 2 o'clock in the morning, a partner can go in and put in a price request, a quote request. They can look at the status of all their orders. They can check their commissions. They can go into the library and look at what's going on with different providers. And then Eco App, which is something that we just launched 2 weeks ago. And oh, you can't see it, but it enables our partners to get a lot of that functionality from their phone. And it's a really cool mobile device. If you, it's built for Android as well as Apple. So you can go to either website and download it. And if you're a Microcorp partner, you can log in and start getting quote requests, look at spiffs, check your commissions. It's really cool.
Very cool. And so just to clarify, you said it actually a few questions ago, but I know we had it down, and I think there was a question about channel managers. Just to clarify, if you could, that they'll still work with their
all of our
current
channel managers. Yes, everybody from Microcorp is here, and we are all very excited about it. So, you know, Cindy, Trisha, Andy, Erica, they're all engaged. If you're with our ISPMs, Josh, John, Allie, Allison, Jillian, oh gosh, Gordon, I hope I don't forget anybody. I'm going to be so embarrassed if I do. They're all with us, and they're all here to support our partners. Oh, and Chris Schubert.
There he is. Actually saw him pop up just now.
Of course, Chris Schubert. How can I forget?
Oh, he says, don't forget about me.
How can I forget?
No one forget. We already mentioned Chris.
Yeah. Chris is fabulous, and we are thrilled to be, I'm thrilled to be able to work with him, because he's another person who I've worked with for years.
Yeah. You're never going to let me live down the, what I said earlier. I won't say it again.
The decades? Yeah, I know.
Be like 5 years from now and you'll be still giving me the business.
Oh, I will remember it. I promise you. And I will.
I have a feeling. So hopefully we're coming out of what we're in, right? I don't want to talk too much about the pandemic, but where do you see us emerging from that and the top products? Like, what do you see going on with the economy for our advisors? What do you think's on the horizon for them, say mid-year going into third quarter?
So I was talking with one of my partners yesterday and I was like, so, how's 2020? How was it for you? And he said, I'm really embarrassed to say it was the best year we've ever had. And that's what I'm hearing from a lot of my partners. It may not have been the best year that they ever had, but it was a good year for them because their customers needed to go virtual. Their customers needed to adopt to SD-WAN. They needed to get UCaaS as a platform for their voice communication. They needed to talk about security and procure security. Those were huge, a huge reason why MicroCorp had such a strong year was our partners were talking and selling those products to their customers. I see it continuing just as much in 2021, and then layering in, some of the other products like disaster recovery and storage and contact center. I mean, all of those are going to be big products for this coming year. And thankfully, now that we are going to be with AppSmart, we have a whole much bigger portfolio of not only products, but also applications. So our partners are starting to talk to their customers about, okay, how are you doing Office 365? Come to me, I can do it for you. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, no, likewise, we're seeing the same thing. So last question, let's wrap up with this, something more personal to you. And I'm going to ask you to speak for Phil. Do you or Phil see retirement on the horizon? What's your plans now that this has happened? What do you see the next 2-3 years looking like for you guys?
Yeah, no, Phil and I, we are both very committed to this. We are very excited about all the opportunities that we're going to be able to be a part of with the AppSmart family. Neither one of us are looking to retire in any way, shape, or form. Matter of fact, I'm chomping at the bit to get out and start seeing our partners again and having activities. I mean, who ever thought that the words, I miss channel partners, would ever come out of our mouths? But
Right.
yeah, we're very much entrenched and we see a lot of exciting things happening in 21, 22, 23, 24. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, retire is the wrong word. The better word is probably do something else, right? Move on to something else. But
I love this. I love what I'm doing. I love the future of being able to build a better platform for our partners because the marketplace is how people are going to be buying. It was the iPad was the first consumer device that actually went into the business, became a business device. And buying on Amazon is now transitioned to how we're going to be procuring all of our technology. And I'm excited about the ride.
very cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I know many are as well, that you guys will be a part of this. We need you as we continue on this rocket ship. So Karen, thank you very much for joining. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye. Mr. Hardy.
Hello, my friend.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing good.
Glad
So
to be
we've
here
got, I know there's a whole subset on this call as participants that want to know about the provider and the supplier side. Before I do though, I remember it's been same thing I mentioned earlier, is really cool to work with you all. I know years back, outside of kind of bumping into you at different shows, I had the opportunity when we were in Boston, if you remember, you and Dave came up, and Matt and I that was our most quality time, we'll call it, right? Where we actually got to have dinner and go to a Red Sox game. But you remember the guy that came and spoke? Matt's buddy was the second in command of the Captain Phillips boat that was, taken over by pirates. So pretty interesting. We were right on the water there in Boston, and this guy came in and told us and showed us his cell phone pictures of his boots on the pirate. Crazy stuff. But
yeah, it couldn't have been a more beautiful day, Brian. And the thing I took away from it that nobody knows that saw the movie is the line "I'm the captain now" actually came from him. It wasn't the pirate. It's when he took over the ship. So yeah, that was a fun time. It was good time to spend some time with you up there.
Yeah, that guy was so bummed because he's like, it's even on the Simpsons. He goes, that was my line, and they gave it to the pirate because it worked better.
That's
And he
right.
said they were walking around bare feet, but they were actually walking around in boots because his boots were on the guy. But anyways, all right, so let's dive into this thing. Let's talk about where do we stand with the consolidation of our contracts and the methodology we're using to do so.
So that's a great question. I'm sure it's on a lot of people's minds. Our portfolio in 2020 grew dramatically. We now have over 600 providers, and two real key events have driven us really improving that catalog, or really increasing the catalog, I should say. One is obviously addition of MicroCorp, but also the asset migrations we've done. So there's a lot of overlap on some of the contracts, but then there's also ones that bring net new opportunities to the table for our partners. So we're really doing a deep dive on the catalog to make sure that we are able to articulate to our technology advisors all of the providers that we have access to, that we have direct contracts with. Where it doesn't hurt us operationally, we are consolidating contracts. But one thing I think is super important for everybody to take away is we are not going to be doing anything from a contract consolidation standpoint that will impact our technology advisors or their end users. So we're going to make sure operationally we have everything in line, Brian, and then we'll consolidate those contracts. That makes
Got
sense.
it. And then to take it a step further in regards to the impact from our asset, migration, or what we call invest, what has that done to our provider portfolio?
Well, that's expanded it, and it's expanded it in an interesting way. It really has allowed us to get a lot of regional, and in some cases market specific providers that AppSmart didn't have access to. So some of the folks that we did in the Invest program had regional and market specific providers that weren't in the portfolio. So the portfolio expanded geographically and really allowed us to get some provider relationships that we simply didn't have before. So in a nice way, it allowed us very quickly to expand the portfolio without going through the machinations of evaluating contracts and the time and effort that it takes to do that. So that was really one of the positive benefits of that program.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you next about the new providers that we've added to have you talk to it, and that's important. But now with our catalog being over 600, I think, between all the different categories, new's important, but there's probably a lot to be discovered from our advisors that's in there that might not be new, but really impactful to them in their business.
Yeah, that's a great point. One of the things that we're doing is we're really putting our providers into segments and really trying to rationalize that portfolio. And again, articulate that back out to our technology advisors so they know who they have access to. One of the things that we are looking to do, we're always looking to add providers, but we really want to make sure that they're strategic. With over 600 providers, it's equally potentially more important for us to take a deep dive of how we get more out of those relationships and go deeper and wider. But if we do have technology advisors that are in specific markets where there are providers that we don't have in the catalog that they think we should, it would absolutely be appropriate for them to reach out to us, and we can explore getting those relationships. One recent significant addition to the portfolio, Brian, as you know, is Zoom. Obviously, Zoom's playing a huge role in the pandemic times and will continue on. So they're growing at a dramatic pace. We added them about a month ago, and we're in the process of onboarding them. So we're super excited about them. And perhaps on the next webinar we have, we'll be announcing another significant player that we're going to add to the portfolio. So we're excited about the progress we're making.
That's awesome. And what's the process again for them to reach out if there's providers? I know I get emails and calls from people I know in the industry. I got one this morning like, hey, how do I get into the mix for AppSmart to take a look at my company? We're not in your portfolio, but we'd love to be. So I guess what's the process, and then typically what's that time that they should expect?
So
if we are interested.
The best way, and we can, if somebody else is on here, they can put it in the chat room. We have it's AppSmart Provider Services at appsmart.com. You can certainly reach out to that. I'm going to make sure, Brian, that that's the accurate address. But basically, we can reach out via that, or quite frankly, I mean, I have no problem with people reaching out directly to me. Shoot me an email, and I'll make sure we get somebody on our team on it.
Got it. And then as far as, again, I'm going with real life examples of what we encounter. Talk to us about where someone wants to know about our sponsorships programs, whether that's you or that's marketing, or what's the best avenue for them to inquire?
So the best avenue for that would most likely be marketing. that would be under Brian Leonard's group, but they could certainly reach out to myself as well, and we can point them in the right direction. We have a very strong marketing program that we work with on Brian Leonard to really make sure that we get a return on investment for our providers that are investing in that program. We coordinate that with our technology advisors.
Sure, and I know that we have a lot of our suppliers that want to get peered with our team and get on our calls, and they're working with different individuals. So if that's a question out there for anyone, because I know, again, I get that pretty much daily, we'll continue to make sure that you're aware of what those avenues are to get exposure and to connect with our team and to peer and to create some strategies around the country. So cool. Matt, anything else that I didn't ask you that you want to cover?
No, I think you hit the important areas, Brian. I would just say I'd echo what Karen said, and Tim. I'm super excited to be here at AppSmart. I really believe that what we're building here is the future. That's why CNSG decided to become part of the vision, and just really excited about the future. So appreciate the time and being on the call today.
Absolutely. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. And again, thank you to you. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate your participating today. So we covered a lot, and I think sometimes when you start and you cover the things we've covered, there's more questions that have come out. I know that there's probably a lot in the chat. I see 58. I don't know how many of those are questions. So just going back to what Tim said, we're going to take a catalog of all those. We're going to answer them. We're going to get on a call and answer them, and then we're going to get those back out to you so we can spend some time and really dive into those, because we cherish those questions. So stay tuned for that. Also, we have a quick survey that's going to be coming up as well at the end of this. If you could stay on, we really value that. And then also in the chat is some of the contact information. I saw if you want to get a hold of Matt, his information was there. I'm sure mine's there as well as provider services. So we'll get that to you. So all of our teams at AppSmart, from frontline sales to back office operations, partner finance, all the different groups we have, we stand ready to help. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of partners that have come to us, and they're all in, and there's a lot that are kind of circling saying, what's going on. Hopefully today helped. But if you need anything, reach out to me, reach out to our team. We'll get you aligned and get you exposed to those different folks so you understand how we're doing business today, what the AppSmart way is as we advance into 2021. So with that, thank you for joining. We appreciate you hanging out for the last 45, 50-ish minutes. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.